kick. Now it's forced him to change stances. That left leg is destroyed.
Finally, in minute 25, Holloway shows some mortality.
Look at this. Holloway just told him, get right here. Oh, big connection right.
Face first level. Holloway wins the WMF title.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Whoa. Oh my goodness.
An absolute stunner at UFC 300.
Oh my God.
We good? Oh yeah. Okay, so I want to talk about UFC 300. Now, I usually don't do too many videos related to MMA or combat sports or UFC these days. Back when I first started uploading videos, I was doing a lot of reaction videos, or more so prediction videos when it came to MMA and stuff, but I don't do it at all these days because MMA and it's gotten really like bad in terms of toxicity and the things that go on, and there's already enough stuff in this world that put me in a bad mood, so I don't want to watch extra stuff that'll put me in a bad mood, you know, so I try to steer clear of it. But of course, every now and then I'll stumble upon headlines and hear about certain fights that may intrigue me. And UFC 300, I didn't even watch it, but I knew about the fights that were going on, so I was like, all right, I'm at least be curious to see who won these fights. And I want to first start off by saying, I want to talk about Alex Pereira, but first, I want to first start off by saying, man, Max Holloway, I did not expect that. You knocking out Justin Gaethje like that, I gotta be honest, like, I want to toot my horn and say all of my fight predictions, I've been right. I gotta, so it is what it is. I've been right about all my fight predictions. And even though I didn't make an official prediction for that fight, I would have assumed Justin Gaethje would have beat Max Holloway. That's what I would have assumed. I thought, they were pretty much throwing Max Holloway to the wolves, even though Max was the one that wanted that fight. He asked to fight Justin. Max, he kind of reminds me of BJ Penn back in the day. He's just that crazy Hawaiian that's just going for it. He don't give a fuck. He'll fight anybody, heavyweights and stuff. So he has that Hawaiian spirit, keeping it alive. So that's cool to see. But yeah, I did not think he'd beat Justin Gaethje, and definitely not in that fashion. I think he dominated him the entire fight. Then the last few seconds gets into a shootout with some catches him, I think with an overhand right, boom, puts him. Nobody could have guessed that. So pretty dope. Max Holloway, pretty dope. Now, the main guy I want to talk about is Alex Pereira, Hands of Stone. Hands of Stone. This guy, what hasn't been said about him? Probably, I think he's the best striker, hands down, in the UFC, if not in MMA right now. And just the fact that this guy had, I think, a finish rate in kickboxing of like 82% or something like that, some crazy finish rate. He was like the Mike Tyson of kickboxing. I mean, the way he was finishing people, he was just knocking people cold left and right. With that said, the more I think about Alex Pereira, I want to say this. I think he's one of the best out there right now, and now he's a champ, two weight class division champ, or however the hell you say it, and that's pretty cool. However, I question if we can put him in the greatest of all time category. Now, this may be controversial, and maybe he is one of the greatest. I think, I'd say he is one of the greatest, right? But can we really say, man, he supersedes a John Jones or a Prime Anderson Silva or Demetrius Johnson or GSP? I don't think so. I feel like if he is on that list of greatest of all time, he would probably be the last guy on that list, barely making it. And here's why. I feel like he's been spoon-fed fights. He's had the luxury of being able to fight kickboxing fights under MMA rules. Nobody has really fought him MMA style. Now, we've seen Alex Pereira on the ground, I think, in the UFC maybe once. And I think it was against Adesanya, and it was atrocious. It was like embarrassing to watch. It was so cringe to see those guys trying to grapple. I don't even know how they ended up on the ground, but yeah, definitely not a grappler. And the thing is, Alex Pereira, as good as he is, he hasn't really been challenged, in my opinion. Like I said, he's had the luxury of fighting guys that are going to play onto his strengths. I think they need to give him a martial artist, not a fighter, a martial artist. And again, it comes to the mentality. So I think they need to give him somebody with Demetrius Johnson's mentality. And I don't know if there's anybody in the middleweight or light heavyweight division that kind of fights remotely similar to Demetrius Johnson, but he needs to fight somebody similar, somebody that's not just going to fight you where you're your strongest. They're going to make you guess. They're going to keep you on your toes, wondering and stuff. All of the guys Alex has fought, they're fighting with pride. They're fighting with the fighter's mentality. So he's not going to knock me out. Fuck that grappling shit. They want to make a point. They want to prove a point. And to be honest, I think out of all the fighters on the roster, Israel Adesanya had the best skill set to be able to beat Alex or knock him out on the feet or whatnot. And he pulled it off. But again, Alex beat this guy three times. So as far as I'm concerned, Alex is still the better striker. He's still the better fighter. And Izzy, he don't even want to have a rematch with him. And so you want to run off, not give a guy a rematch who's beaten you 3 times. That to me says that you're not really confident that you can beat him multiple times. You just, banking, hoping for that one, because everybody knows in fighting anything can happen, right? If you fight a person 20 times, there's a chance, especially at the level these guys are at, there's a chance the worst fighter can win at least one time. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I still think Alex is the better fighter compared to Israel Adesanya. But that's what I think. I don't think we can really. I think Alex Pereira has been spoon-fed fights, and he needs to fight somebody that's going to fight him with logic and wisdom, with the martial artist's mentality, not a fighter's mentality. Not, I'm going to out-tough you, I'm going to beat you, I'm going to knock you out, because we get it. Striking is still viewed as the more machismo way of fighting. So a lot of guys who probably are good at grappling probably don't want to grapple with the guy because they really want to go out there and prove a point, and they feel like if they shoot on him and try to submit him, then I don't know what they're thinking, but they need to knock it off. I feel like the main goal should be to beat this guy. He needs to be given someone who's really going to try to grapple him, wrestle him, exhaust him. Whenever I see Alex Pereira's fights, he looks way too calm. Just the way he sits up, he's just way too calm. You got to make this guy nervous. You got to make him guess. You got to keep him, you know what I'm saying? He should not be that. Even the way he kind of pushed Herb Dean aside when he was fighting the last guy he fought, Jamal Hill or something like that, just way too calm, because he knows these guys are just going to play right into his strength. So yeah, give this guy someone who's going to really test him. I feel like he has to beat at least one person who's really going to press the takedown, who's really going to challenge him on the ground and really test him. Then we can officially say he's one of the greatest MMA fighters of all time. He's definitely one of the best kickboxers of all time. Definitely probably the best kickboxer in UFC history, if not MMA history. And there's been a lot of good kickboxers in MMA history. But until we see him actually fight an MMA style fight, not just a kickboxing fight in MMA, I don't know if we can really say he's like one of the greatest. We probably say he's one of the greatest, but we definitely can't say he's like number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, or even number 5. I definitely wouldn't put him above GSP, Demetrius Johnson, or guys like that, because we've seen GSP beat guys who have tried to knock him out standing. We've seen GSP beat guys who have tried to out-grapple him. We've seen GSP survive in many facets, different facets of MMA fights. We haven't seen that yet with Alex Pereira. The only one time we saw him on the ground, he looked terrible. We've seen Demetrius Johnson show versatility and diversity and things like that in the fight. And you can make the argument, well, hey, if you can win a fight without being versatile, why not? I mean, all of these guys, they just kickboxing them. They just standing with him. So why should he have to show versatility? And that's a good point. If people are just going to keep playing into your strengths, hell, why do something that you're not very good at, or you don't feel comfortable with, or you just flat out don't like? So I agree with that. However, I feel like, I'm not saying Alex Pereira should shoot for takedowns and go for throws and shit and try to submit people. I'm saying he needs to fight somebody that's going to try to do that to him, to see how he reacts to that. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think. So I like Alex Pereira as a fighter. He's like, and it's like, just to see these people just trying to strike with him is crazy. It's just his look. Whenever I look at him, I'm just like in awe. Big old head, big old jaw, big old knuckles, hands, broad shoulders, 6'4", lean. It's like this dude was designed, born to knock people the fuck out. he was born to knock people clean the fuck out. So he has the genetics on his side, and he has the skills on his side. It's like I wouldn't even go there with it. Fuck that. I'm gonna press the takedown with this guy. Obviously try to mix it up with the strikes and stuff, but that's what I say. Demetrius Johnson, in my opinion, is the greatest of all time. That's just me personally. Because Demetrius Johnson, he can do it all. He hung with Rotain on the feet, elusive and blah blah blah. But then once that their fight went to the grappling aspect, took Rotain down, submitted him. That's what a real martial artist is. A true martial artist is able to be like water and survive no matter where the fight goes and stuff. And we haven't really seen that sort of versatility with Alex Pereira. So I feel like until we see him really get tested in terms of actual MMA rule sets, because not just kickboxing and MMA, because that's pretty much what he's been doing. He's just been fighting kickboxing fights in MMA. Until we see him really get tested as a mixed martial artist, I really question the legitimacy of how great he really, really is, But that's just my opinion. I still like him. I still like watching him fight. But yeah, I want to see him get tested. Let's see it. Only time will tell. But hey, that's all I got to say. Till then, peace out.